What up? It's at St. Lauren 57. Good morning. Still sober, celibate, and saved. So, last night I went to my domestic violence class, battery intervention, man alive, women's empowerment, and I'm learning a lot about like emotional intelligence. And something I learned also is that more than likely because I had a lot of feelings, hurt feelings, that I didn't know how to cope with my feelings. I didn't get those feelings nurtured. Um, and when hurt feelings aren't nurtured, it turns into anger, and anger eventually turns into violence. And, obviously, the violence I did to myself, cutting, overeating, doing drugs, and then obviously so on, so on. I'm really learning a lot about that. And I think that's probably the greatest thing is learning how to regulate your emotions and being taught how to regulate your emotions, because I think that's really important to childhood development. And I think it's something that everybody can use, because that's where a lot of it stems from, is childhood trauma and being in, broken environments and not knowing how to regulate our emotions. And when no one teaches you, no hitting, like when no one talks with you to get you through and direct your emotions into a healthier response versus, well, most of us do throw tantrums and, act out in anger, and it becomes violent. And I think that's the greatest thing about this class, is it just shows how deep this stuff really goes, and how long ago the hurt really started, and for how long the hurt can grow and morph into something else. And just, I think emotional intelligence is super important, because I think, the generations of broken people raising, birthing people into a broken world, and therefore, making more broken people. I think that having therapy and learning to be self-aware and learning to regulate your emotions and learning how to walk yourself through them so that you can have a response versus a reaction, because, with hurt comes anger, comes violence. And I think that's the greatest thing that I've learned in this program, is how to regulate my emotions and having emotional intelligence. So I think everybody should take this class.